Seriously contemplate what I'm trying to get across, and I pray I have some clarity in what I'm trying to get across. We need to stop thinking that our angry outbursts, our momentary outbursts, are some kind of a solution, because they're not. We need to stop being reactive. You think Rasulullah ﷺ was offensive? The kindest human being that ever lived, Rahmatan lil Alameen? The people that they trusted, Sadiq and Ameen, they hated him so much, right? You know what that means? There's nothing wrong with you. You could be the nicest person. You could be the kindest person. You could be the one looking out for them more than anyone else. But once you stand by this book, you are public enemy number one. This is unpopular. This is against our society. This is uncivil. This is a threat. Whether it's a threat or not is not even the point. And when some will act in that evil way that some have, to wreak havoc on the rest of the community, then all they needed was that justification to be able to label everybody else. And now you're too busy unlabeling yourself, and I'm too busy unlabeling myself. No, we're not those crazy people. No, Islam doesn't say that. No, Islam hasn't said that for 1.5 million. Read. No scholar has said that. Muslims have been a part of the civilization of Europe, of Africa, of Asia, continents. Islamic scholarship isn't Arab scholarship. It's an international, multi-civilizational scholarship that has thrived alongside Jewish and Christian communities, and Hindu communities and Buddhist communities for centuries upon centuries upon centuries. There's a history. And for us to think that somehow we have to either we have to get on the back foot and apologize for being Muslim, or we have to, justify the insanity. As if Allah does not give us a response. Why are these things offensive? Well, there's a legitimate reason they're offensive, and there's an evil reason they're offensive. Let's be honest about that too. The legitimate reason these things are offensive is because Muslims misrepresent them. And they engage in corruption, evil, alienation. They engage in all kinds of things that are anti-Islam in the name of Islam. And that's when non-Muslims see that and say, this is what their religion is? This is what they want? They're a plague on our society. And you know what? When Muslims act a certain way, they do act like a plague on society. That's a fact too. But there's another reason. There's plenty of Muslims that are not a plague on society. There's a vast majority of Muslims that are an asset to any society. They're a source of goodness in any society. They're a source of justice in any society, fairness in any society. Those Muslims, now they need to be stronger than they ever have been. They need to toughen up like they never have before. I'm reminded of Hamza radiallahu anhu, who wasn't even Muslim. But when he found out his nephew's been offended, he's like, oh yeah? Well, I'm Muslim now. I was kind of thinking, no, now what? Now what? It's time for the now what response from the entire Muslim community, from the entire Muslim world. It's time we showed everybody around us what Islam really is. You think they have propaganda machinery? They can put a cartoon on a government building and the world will get the wrong picture of who the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ is? No. The world gets the wrong picture of who Rasulullah is. The world gets the wrong picture of about what the Quran is because the Muslims don't represent them properly. 1 in every 5 persons on this planet is a Muslim. We have plenty of spokespeople on this planet to represent what the Quran really is, what Islam really is. No force in media has that kind of following. Nobody has those kinds of numbers. We do. It's time we acted. We showed what it was. I talk about the Quran. I talk about Rasulullah ﷺ with anybody I deal with, any business I do. I just had somebody do some work on our campus, non-Muslim guy. I don't preach Islam to them, but you know what? Any chance I get. So I say, hey, I forgot to send you an invoice. But payment was due last week. And I immediately write back to him, man, our teaching is, our Prophet told us, before the sweat dries up, you should pay the worker. We'll take care of it right away. And he just writes back, man, I wish other people follow this teaching. Right? This is what we got to do now. We have to introduce the Prophet ﷺ with the way we do business. We are now its ambassadors. Stop thinking that governments will come in and help. Stop thinking that billionaires will come in and help. Stop thinking that media organizations will come in and help. You are the media. I'm the media. And we've got to do what does not dissuade us from this nonsense. These people, these attacks on the Prophet ﷺ, these attacks on the Quran will never get rid of the Quran. They will never reduce the status of the Prophet ﷺ. Never. What they will do is they will desensitize us over time, because we'll start thinking, what can we do? What can we do? What can we do? Right? And everything we do, nothing changes because we're back in the same situation. When a person tries to do something and they end up in the same situation, over time they just say, what's the point, right? What's their biggest success? We become hopeless. But if you're in the middle of planting a seed and people are distracting you, and then you're still planting a seed and they say, what are you doing? It's not even a tree yet. And you're not bothered by it. You're just watering the soil, because these people that want to keep this place a desert, when that tree comes out and it won't go anywhere and its fruits keep coming out, then maybe our response is a slow response. It's a measured response. We want the governments to change. We want civilization to change. Us versus them. No, plant a seed. Plant a seed. Let its shade fall on the believer and the disbeliever. Let even the one who never knew what to believe feel its shade and eat of its fruit and say, wow, how come so people were yelling at you because you were planting that tree? I want to join the farm. I want to be part of that garden. Become that. Yes, you can have legitimate, within legal means, responses, reactions, letters, I even recommend lawsuits. I even recommend it. You don't think those kinds of cartoons are traumatic to children? That's not offensive to children? You don't think that hurts their psyche? And we shouldn't stand up for the mental health, at least, of our children? These are not worth legal action? Absolutely they are. Absolutely. No way around it. Take all of those actions, but understand something. Those are just reactions. That's not the action needed, that's the reaction for the time being. The real action needed is for this ummah to wake up, to actually be someone that Rasulullah can make shafa'ah for on Judgment Day. These are the people who carried my word. We need a renaissance in this ummah. We need the brightest young minds to be the most educated in their religion and to be the most educated historians, political scientists, anthropologists, psychologists, economists. You need to be the best of both worlds. You need to be leading in every sphere of life. You need to be the mark of excellence. When people think of the top in their field, they think of the people that say La ilaha illallah. When you lead the world in both, then you see who insults you. Then you see. Allah gave us these ayat to study, the ayat of creation. He gave them to us to study, just like He gave us the ayat of revelation to study. It's time that we held ourselves to a higher, much higher standard. Every single one of you young people, men and women that are listening to me, what is it that you're going to accomplish in your life? Set your goals high, out of love of your messenger, sallallahu alaihi wasallam.